Welcome back. I'm Sam.
And I'm Miguel.
And this is the Didn't Anyone Mention podcast. What you got for me today?
I guess, yeah. Well, I saw a TikTok. I think we both probably saw it. Was it?
Oh, actually, yes. I totally forgot you were doing it on this.
Yeah, I was just looking up the pronunciation for it. So whoever's listening might have seen a TikTok about the, I want to say they're called the Ircenrraat people of Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked up the pronunciation, and it's actually the Ircenrraat. Ircenrraat. That's how it's Ircenrraat. That's what I'm going to call them for the rest of the episode.
Okay.
That's what they're called.
Okay.
So the Ircenrraat, they are a species of little people that live in Alaska. And so the TikTok, it blew up. Like, it's got millions of views, I'm fairly sure. And it left out quite a bit of the story.
Oh, man. I wouldn't doubt it. Sorry.
So essentially what the TikTok said was, I am the Ircenrraat. We protect our lands.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come here and mess up our lands, otherwise we'll kill you or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
I think it was like, we'll lead you out to pretty much die in the winter or something like that. Yeah, because it's Alaska, right?
Yeah. And not necessarily wrong, but there's a whole bunch else that's attached to it.
Oh, easily. I mean, I got down that TikTok train, and some of them were like, oh, this is based off a video game. Like, it's not even actually anything. You know? So, I'm glad you found some cool stuff on it.
Dude. Yeah. I found a lot of stuff. So, first of all, so what they are, so we did an episode, I think 2 weeks ago now, about the Owyhee Mountain Cannibals.
Yes.
It is crazy how similar these guys are.
Different, yeah, it's just a different area.
Dude, like, cultures across the world have species of little people.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder.
Yeah.
It's fucking creepy.
I mean, yeah, and then people find underground caves, and you're like,
what? Yeah, funny you should mention that.
Oh, sheesh.
Anyways, so what did I call them? The Ircenrraat.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're pronounced. They look like they're Ircenrraat, but it's Ircenrraat. That's what I'm gonna call them. They're small, mischievous creatures that they live in the tundra, which is actually not too far from us. And more specifically, they're north of Glacier Bay National Park. So you have all of Alaska, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the southeast little peninsula before you hit Canada, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So pretty much it almost connects to like Washington up in that corner. Right there you have Glacier Bay National Park. And just right up there is the tundra where they're supposedly sighted.
Huh.
Interesting, right? More about them is that they live underground, and when they get hungry, that's the tunnels,
that was
right?
Funny.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
The lore goes that they don't actually live in our realm, that they live, underneath us, which is like the ground, right? Mm-hmm. And then they live above us in the air, but they're also multi-dimensional beings.
Oh, dang.
So they can like choose when to show into our dimension.
Oh,
anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when they get hungry, pretty much, they disorient, discomfort, and trap humans to eat them, and they lure them back into their caves.
Nice.
Now, there is literally an encounter of this.
Oh my god. I was going to say, don't even say it. And an encounter? Ugh.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty wild. And I'll tell you the whole backstory on it. So that's what the TikTok told us, is that, they kill you, they eat you, they trap you, whatever it is. But there's a whole lot more.
Tell me.
Oh, you want to know it?
I do.
Wouldn't that be nice? I'm just kidding.
And that's it? No.
So, first and foremost, finding lore on these little creatures was difficult. Mainly because translation from Yupik, which is it's U or YWP''IK, which is the native colony. That translation to English
is super hard.
Is super rare.
Yeah.
So I was like, I dug through so many resources just to find what I have.
Dang, I mean, it looks like you got enough.
I have enough, right? So finding lore on it was hard. So I actually went through a whole Eskimo dictionary. And found a bunch of stuff, yeah. So, the lore... Hold on. I'm looking through my notes right now. So, in the lore of it, the history of them, here's some facts for you that was translated over from Yupik to English.
Cool.
Right? They're similar looking to humans. They're just smaller, right? Their eyes are very narrow. They're like really close together.
Interesting.
And they live underground. They are invisible to everyone except for shamans.
Because they have a third eye.
Possibly. Quite possibly they have a third eye. And they're able to take human and animal forms.
Bro, that is just unfair.
Overpowered, right?
Overpowered.
And this is the wildest one. Is they can control the weather around them. So
what? They are completely overpowered.
Dude, they can have summer and winter and summer and vice versa. Like they can, if we're having winter out here, like a couple of humans, just disgraceful humans, they can come out and have summer around them. Like they feel like summertime.
Jeez.
Isn't that nuts?
I know. Miguel and I love to say overpowered when we see things. I'm like, that's overpowered. This is overpowered. Easily.
Right.
Super villain overpowered all the
time. And these creatures, they live in the world below, right? Like I said before, and the world above us. They're multidimensional beings.
Jeez.
But what the TikTok didn't tell you was that they are attracted to / lured / targeting people under ritualistic ceremony. That's why they come into the world. That's why there's sightings of them.
So when people do rituals, that's when they
specifically the Yupik people. Yeah. So
so only if you're doing a ritual are they going to come eat you.
Yes, that's when they target you.
Well, duh, because you're doing a ritual.
Well, yes. So the ritual was called, I'm totally going to mess this up. But the lettering is EYAGNAQ, which is Eagnak. That's what I'm going to call it. It's probably so wrong.
Appreciate you trying.
Yeah, the ceremonial ritual was any kind of major life change, major life event. So we're thinking birth, death, a first period, illness, miscarriages, like something big like that, right?
Pregnancy.
Yeah, that would probably be under there.
Nice.
So what would happen is the people in the tribe, they would go into a ceremony, a ritual, where they would abstain from certain foods, drinks, and certain activities.
Lent.
Well, you don't have to say Lent, but...
But the same concept. Just saying, it's always...
Can you give up sex for Lent?
I think so.
You can give up nothing?
I think you can give
nothing for the Lord?
I think you can give up literally anything for Lent.
Really? I don't know.
I'm not Catholic. I think you were, right?
I was raised Catholic, but I don't remember it being like as a religious thing, more of as a competition thing between my siblings.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not it.
Yeah.
It's not a competition, but...
So, Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
I know she is, so she can tell us. She doesn't have to...
She don't have to say.
She doesn't have to say specifically, but I know when she sends it out to the family chat, like, yeah, you can't give that up for Lent. I'll understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. And
I think you can give up whatever. I think it's something that gives you temptation.
I thought it was... Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Damn, I've never heard that before. I thought it was just like...
I'm just an outsider looking in.
I'm trying to remember what I gave up for Lent before, and I think I said once it was like...
I think your mom gives up stuff for Lent. I think she does.
Yeah.
And your dad.
Yeah. I think my dad gives up red meat because, like, literally, physically, he cannot have it.
I think, because I remember last year I joked around. I was like, I'm not drinking alcohol, but I was pregnant. So I was literally already, I was like, yeah, I'll give up alcohol, sushi. Like, I'm like listing off all the things. Like, wow, look at me.
Deli meat. Can't have deli meat.
I didn't give up deli meat. Hate on me if you want.
But, I do. Dude, every day of my life.
I'm serious. I couldn't eat anything hot. It, like, grossed me out. Like, I just wanted, like, salad, like, just cold. I'd eat ice cubes, Slurpees.
Slurpee? What's a Slurpee?
A Slurpee?
Yeah, what's a Slurpee?
From the gas station? A Slurpee?
An icy?
That's a brand. That's like saying Q-tips.
Yeah.
Or Kleenex.
Yeah.
Well, fine. An icy. But yeah. Those things are fire.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd have that for food? Just a straight up freezy? Or what'd you call them?
A Slurpee.
Oh, where did I get freezy from?
I mean, they're kind of a freezy. No, that and Jimmy John's. I lived off of that. That's what that little girl's made of.
Dude, Jimmy John? she's straight Jimmy, dude. Dude, she's straight Jimmy.
She's straight Jimmy
you
John
can see
and
it.
Slurp.
Yeah, you can see it every freaking day. She's a little turkey, I could tell. Little turkey Tom action.
I was going to say, you already know.
I call her Turkey Butt, so it all makes sense.
I know. I even found her pants with a turkey on her butt.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Makes sense. Okay, so where was I?
Sorry, I distracted you.
Oh, you're good.
We were talking about Lent. Oh, how it was like Lent.
Yes, so they abstain from activities, right?
Okay.
So this is my theory.
Oh, you tell me.
Okay, it's my theory. So 1, they abstain from food, drinks, right, and activities, including busting nuts for the Lord.
Oh,
you know what
okay,
I mean? Okay. So now you have a couple of teenagers in that tribe, right? They're getting a little frisky, a little Eskimo action, right? They're trying to get up in those pine trees. You know what I'm saying? They get a little froggy, right? Well, who's the only person that can see them? Is the shamans. They're the only ones that can see the what do I call them? Inkenhut?
Uh-huh.
Ircenrraat? That's what I call them. They're the only ones that can see these dwarf people, these little killers,
little
right?
Huts, yeah.
Yeah. So you're out there trying to bust a nut in your tribe, and the shaman's like, hey, you can't go out there, they'll kill you.
I was wondering where you were going with this. This is a really big hypothetical.
This is my theory.
So you're just saying they were trying to use fear tactics on their people?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, yes, 100%. That was my theoretical.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Not even just teens. I bet everybody
and they wouldn't necessarily attack the tribe, right? Only if you go off into the mountains or off outside of the tribe.
Well,
so
also,
what
don't you like hallucinate when you like go through hypothermia and stuff?
I don't think you hallucinate.
You don't hallucinate? No, I was just curious.
I think what happens to your is like you think you're warm. I guess
that's the only thing. I don't know if you hallucinate, but
yeah. So if you ever find yourself out in the winter time, like lost, and you think you're hot,
dang, I'm starting to get hot.
Do not take any clothing off. I swear to God.
You might be in trouble.
Because actually, what's happening is your body temperature has reached so low, and now your heart's pumping, trying to get into your organs, and you think you're freaking cooking. And so you take everything off, and that's what. As soon as you reach that point where you think you're cooking alive inside your freaking
not
clothes,
like hot, like you're like, damn, I've been walking around, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Like you're literally like my skin's gonna boil.
And I think that's one of the worst ways to go.
That or burning to death.
I think
freezing or burning.
I would have to say burning. Yeah, burning's a lot quicker. It depends on the freezing scenario. Like if you have hypothermia, like how long does it take for you to get hypothermic? Mm-hmm. That whole journey must be terrible, and then you hit a tipping point where your body goes into a stage where you think you're finally warm, and then you just die. So those last, I don't know, 3 to 10 minutes. Fire might be quick,
but you are just in pain.
Yeah. I think you'd only be in pain for
You think your body would just go into shock?
And then straight into shock, yeah. I don't know, let's try it.
I'm good. I'm good. Okay. You said you have other hypotheticals?
No, that was my one.
Oh, that was your one.
Okay. That was my one. So, like...
You think they were scare tacticing?
I think the shamans were saying, if you go off into those mountains during this ritual time, I know you teenagers, I was a teenager once, there's little Incan huts that will fucking kill you. So, you said it your will.
I feel like that's a little bit of a... I mean, I feel like it's a stretch.
You don't think so? Or you think so?
I don't...
So I think it's the common... I think there was some... Okay. I'm going all over the place right now. A lot of forums that I went on to, a lot of it ties into ufology. So, like, people looking for extraterrestrials.
Oh, alienists.
Dude, it went freaking... I went into deep forums.
Okay.
Dude, it went nuts. Anyways. People compare the Incan Hut. Iction Hut.
You could say Nincompoop for a second.
Iction Hut. They compare them to like a boogeyman.
Okay.
Gives me fucking chills thinking about it. So, yeah, if you're a teenager, go up into the mountains, shaman tells you there's little people out there trying to kill you, you're done now.
So, but you're saying like it was always when people who ever did rituals, not only teenagers were doing rituals.
No, the whole tribe, the whole group would be under ritual. Like if there was a birth, everybody is under ritualistic ceremony.
Only the teenagers were getting ganked because they were going out in the woods?
No, I'm saying those teenagers probably got the craziest hormones, right? Anybody out there.
Oh, okay. So you're saying anybody who would want to go into the woods?
You're right.
Okay.
Right. And so that's as far as I'm gonna dig into it because it took me way too long to even just get that ritualistic ceremony. Okay. So now we're gonna dig into first-hand encounters, bub.
Jeez.
Okay.
Jeez.
So
this is an encounter.
Oh, bro. You have no idea what you're about to listen to.
I'm scared. Okay.
So, I found this guy.
Like you talked to him?
I didn't talk to him, but I read his posts firsthand. I am in a group with him firsthand.
Let me know.
He's okay with me using his name, but keeping everybody else's name out.
I love it.
I'm not going to use his name, so I'm just going to call him Tony. Tony. Okay. He doesn't live that far from us.
Okay. It's okay. You don't need to add that in. I don't need to know that.
Okay. I'm going to tell you the whole story right now. I'm just going to... I summed it up quite a bit. Yeah. But if you have any questions, just let me know, okay? So, I'm just going to read off my notes here.
Tell me.
So, I said, I don't want to use his name, but we will call him Tony. On May 7th, of last year,
Jesus,
Tony was out hunting on a snowmobile.
Classic.
Or hunting, sightseeing, whatever he was doing on a snowmobile.
Snowmobiling.
And on his path, through a marsh meadow in the summertime, he saw a little boy in the middle of what was a marsh or a meadow. Like, it's all covered in snow or whatever.
Wait. You said in the summertime.
Yeah. So, like, what would be a marsh? Right now, it's all just covered in snow.
A marsh. Okay. What would be a marsh in the summertime, but it wasn't.
All snow covered.
And he saw a boy. Okay.
Yeah. He saw a little boy. So, he saw him out in the distance, about 150 yards out, maybe 100 yards out. And he saw a little black figure. And there was about 10 other snowmobilers out, like, doing trails or whatever with them. And this figure ended up growing and growing. And he stopped to take a look, right? And he ended up recognizing this little boy. It's a really small town. I think I have it in here. I'll have to say it later. Really small town. He's like, oh, I know that boy, right? So he started shouting at the boy. He started saying, like, where's your dad? Who are you hunting with? Whatever, right? But the boy kept, like, whimpering, like, leaned over, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? And from Tony's perspective, he doesn't remember seeing any tracks anywhere. Like, he just saw this all snow,
his
right?
rest of his group just left without him?
Well, that's what he thought.
Mm.
Right? So, anyways, this boy kept on whimpering, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Right? So he ended up throwing the boy on his snowmobile and taking him back home. It's a small village, right? And the boy was like super dazed. He was confused. He was scared. Didn't know what time it was. Mm-hmm. He was just lost.
Yeah.
Like straight up lost, right? But Tony knew like there was a bunch of other snowmobiles around.
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody had to have seen him, but they just didn't stop or whatever. Anyways, he made it all the way back to his house, and he left on his VHS transmitter, his radio transmitter, in case somebody started calling about a lost boy or whatever. Missing boy, missing my kid, right? Or whatever. Nothing came that night. It's a small town.
Well, you would notice your kid's missing, right?
Right. Nothing came through. All night they stayed up. No answer, right? But like as the night went on, as Tony remembered, like the boy started remembering more things that happened. He started to dude, I'm getting fucking chills right now. Oh, sorry. He started telling Tony that like, okay, like I saw this girl that was abducted 40 years ago. Like, he saw a little girl. So, apparently in this town 40 years ago, there was a girl that was abducted that just went missing. Mm-hmm. And he saw her. Right? Like, he talked to her and she asked for help. Aww. Right? Mm-hmm. But he ended up, like, the kid ended up getting, like, all dazed up or whatever. And the little people, the Ircenrraat, carried him into Pilcher Mountain, into a cave system, which is very highly recognized as first-hand or like encounters with the Ircenrraat. Mm-hmm. Like Pilcher Mountain is the highest sightings. Like there's sightings every year from that place. So they carried him off. Like he had no control of his body. They carried him into there. He talked to this girl. And they ended up releasing him, I guess, just a few minutes before Tony showed up. And he didn't release a whole lot of details, but that's what Tony said. Okay, his story.
So
I didn't want to tell the whole story.
The boy had said this.
The boy had said this.
But still, why isn't his parents like wondering where he is? That doesn't make any sense.
That's the question. I didn't get any closure.
Oh my god. Because that doesn't make any sense.
I didn't get any closure as to the kid's parents.
Freaking trashed.
Anyways, this story is quite a bit longer. But this story in itself made it onto some like globally recognized books. Like when I followed him on Facebook, it's a Yukon group, if you guys are wondering. Mm-hmm. A Yukon group. He's digging into this like every day. He wants to figure out answers. So he has people message him about their encounters with Ircenrraat and everything. So he's like facilitating all this. He basically says, believe me or don't believe me, but this is what people have told me. Dude,
bro, what?
Seeing his posts like firsthand, and I have a couple more of his.
Dang.
Of people trying to get to him, and the craziest part, dude. Okay, the craziest part about this whole thing is his story was posted on Anchorage News, like Anchorage, capital of Alaska. Mm-hmm. He had a link in here about his town. He's like, hey, check out this news post that I had. I clicked on it. 404 not found. They deleted the whole page. Couldn't find it.
What?
Every link that he had, it sent me to Anchorage, Alaska News, but page not found, page not found, page not found. Ain't that wild?
That is weird.
Dude,
it's like they're trying to like cover it up.
Dude, I know.
That is weird.
So that's, of all the stories that I found, this is the most popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Of the Ircenrraat. This
Mm-hmm.
is the most popular one.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one, right? But I have one more story for you.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. I have
2, 3.
I have 2 more stories, 2 little
Mm.
ones. So another one happened. I'm going to tell it in the perspective of the people, right? I was walking at night at home in the dark. So I looked it up in Alaska. In the wintertime, they only have 3 to 6 hours of daylight, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
That's so little.
Mm-hmm.
That is, they call it the dark season, I guess.
That would be depressing.
Right? That's so dark. That's like dark all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a story here. I was walking at night, home in the dark months, with only 3 to 6 hours of daylight. Makes sense, right? I was walking down the path when I saw a dark child-like thing darting from shadow to shadow. He was walking down a path with dimly lit pathway, and all he heard was next light. He'd take a few steps. Next light. Next light. Next light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every step he would take, this childlike thing would follow him, right? Stay in front of him. Until it came up to a larger, longer pole, and what he saw was this little creature climbed up the pole super quick, came back down, ran across, back up, back down, and ran across. So flip sides, but going up the pole, back over, up the other pole, and across, right? And in that dimly lit light, he saw kind of a figure, kind of the color of it, and he saw a really small person dressed in traditional garb, like attire. So that's like a fox skin or something.
Yeah, like animal fur.
Animal fur, right? And sunglasses.
Okay.
Which I thought was super odd. But ended up following him all the way home, just going through the shadows.
That's terrifying.
Like, all the way home.
That is so weird.
Ain't that wild?
Dang.
So that's another pretty popular encounter. I don't know why these give me chills. Do you have chills?
Not as much about this one, but I mean, it's spooky. Don't get me wrong.
I don't know why I get so many chills.
Because I think you picture yourself out there.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
This last one here happened in 1970. I'm going to tell it in the perspective of the person again. So in 1970, April, my aunt and her husband, they machined over to Marshall, so it's a different town, from Pilot Station, which is where they were housed at. The trip went well. They spent a couple of nights and started their journey back home, 3-4 days or whatever. They started their journey back home, and they passed a fish station along the way, which was 25 miles outside of town.
Okay.
Right? So on their way back, they were driving in their snow machine, snowmobile, whatever you want to call it. As soon as they passed this fish station, they both knew, okay, we're about 25 miles out. We maybe got another 20 minutes to go, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? So the husband's there cruising along, and my aunt realizes, hey, like we're not going anywhere. Like we're not moving. Her husband takes a while to like recognize what she's saying. He's like, what do you mean? So he starts revving it up a little bit. Starts revving it up quite a bit. And realizes like, shit, like you're right. We're not going anywhere. So if you remember the Ircenrraat, what are their main strategies? to daze, disorient, confuse. Mm-hmm. So all these stories, except for, I guess,
all of them,
except for the one that I just told you about, the one with the poles jumping through shadows.
Oh yeah.
They all kind of do that same thing, and even when it came to the suspension, like the husband felt like he was going over terrain, but they just weren't moving. Flat out, they weren't moving. But the husband remembered how to get out of the Ircenrraat's trap, how to get out of their magical powers, whatever you want to call it. He had to... Hold on, I gotta look down and look at my notes here. He urinated on the ground, licked the bottom of his right hand all the way to the pinky, made a cutting motion behind them, and then boom. What they recall is that the ice cracked. Right? So the ice cracked. Mm-hmm. That's what the story goes, is that remember the ice cracking.
Yeah.
And they were outside of the Ircenrraat's spell.
Uh-huh.
And they ended up walking home.
They walked home?
7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
In the dark. In Alaska.
Why would they not?
In the wintertime.
Their machine didn't work?
I don't know. I have no idea. There was no...
Dang.
This was a story that Tony, I want to say his real name, but his real...
Tony's good, yeah.
His real name's not Tony. That's what Tony posted.
Mm-hmm.
He's like... And all the stories, he's just trying to gather information, trying to get it all. Because his very first encounter with anything like this was with that little boy. And from there, he started growing. He wanted to collect everything.
That's funny. That's crazy. Because, I mean, I think we've been out there maybe, like, once. When the lake, like, maybe, like, shifts. And you're kind of like...
Yeah.
Ooh, that was loud. But it takes a lot. Like, it takes, like, a nice, like, wave or shift. I mean, I've never even seen anything big enough to make it crack. But that is crazy.
But it doesn't sound like a... It's a weird sound. Like, I don't know if anybody that's listening, like... Yeah. So, we live in Idaho. When we head down to Kuna, out there's nothing, but you have power lines running through, If you stand out there and there's no traffic around and it's just you and the power lines, you can almost hear you can hear humming. Yeah. But you can also hear like a bouncing. Yeah. Of the lines. Yeah. And it almost that's
almost what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's almost what it sounds like. That's what I remember it as.
But that's like not even it really cracking, that's it shifting.
That's so scary to even think
about. I know, that is so weird.
Because think about it, like Lake Cascade. That's where my mind goes.
Yeah, because that's just where we've been. Yeah.
We go there a lot, right? Imagine for freaking 12 inches thick of ice across that entire lake.
It's just like... And
it's just like, it's shifting.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird sound.
Yeah.
It's not like what you imagine.
Yeah, you would think it's like...
you think it's like a...
Yeah, no, but it's like...
It's pretty high-pitched.
Yeah, it's like high-pitched, yeah. That is true.
Yeah, it's pretty high pitched.
It's like a string almost, like on a guitar or something, like the...
Yeah,
like
but
if it was just like super out of tune or something, but...
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, that's a little spooky. This guy, I guess, that's crazy, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to keep following him unless, in case there's good stories that come up. Mm-hmm. But, anyways, okay. So, yeah, he ended up being in a lot of books of these people, the Ircenrraat, right? Because of his first encounter. Jeez. And the boy. I couldn't find anything about that boy.
I wonder what happened to him.
I couldn't find anything on him. Maybe he's protecting him. I don't know.
Maybe he's like trying to keep it a secret. But I guess what I'm like, so like, why can't we just say, I guess, why can't he just say, oh, his parents picked him up, or, oh, he's still in my like care?
Maybe they didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, or
so,
he just disappeared.
So
like,
this was a discussion on one of the forums. So this was, Church of Ufology.com. I don't recommend that website.
Oh, yeah.
Some pretty deep holes in that website.
Nice. Okay.
They were asking the same questions, like, why can he
just say
whatever, do this, whatever. Essentially, the debates that they had was, so if there was an abduction of that girl from 40 years ago, that little girl, and her picture stayed the same, right? Like, 40 years ago, they had a picture of this little girl. She went missing, and this boy recognized her because it's a small town. This girl went missing, right?
Yeah.
40 years passed, and now this boy got abducted by these little people, the Ircenrraat, and he recognized her. Where does time go? If they're multi-dimensional beings, like, where does time go? Like, they can just pop between these places.
The only thing I could think is if they, like, present themselves as her.
That's a good question.
Because you said that they can take, like, human form.
Right. And so that there was a lot of... Dude, I'm getting more chills right now. There was a lot more encounters.
You and aliens, dude.
Dude, aliens, I want them to exist, but they freak me the fuck out. There was an encounter with a mom and her 3 kids that I read about. But I thought it was more alien than this, but she said it was these people, these Ircenrraats.
She said.
Essentially the story goes that she was putting her kids down to sleep or whatever. She was putting them down. She had one kid that was 4 years old that could go to bed, you know, in her bedroom or in his bedroom. But she had 2 little ones that she had to put down. So she ended up putting the 2 kids down to bed, and she closed the door behind herself. Like, if you're a parent, you know what that is. Like, that door closing is the final, like,
yep.
I'm good, right? Well, a toy was in the way. She ended up slipping on it and hit her head for a little bit. She got, like, dazed for a second, and then she woke up, and she was in this stairway, and in that in this hallway, there were 6 people, 6 little people, lined up around her, right? So she just woke up.
I'm already freaked out.
And they're around her, and they were small. She remembered them as being like 2 feet tall, and they had like barely glowing eyes, barely glowing. So like they weren't super bright, but they're like kind of dimly lit, right? And they were going into their kids' rooms, but she like went crazy. Like, started making noise, like, screaming, like, I gotta protect my kids.
Well, yeah.
And they ended up just scurrying out a window, like, super quick. And she, like, stayed up with these kids. Her husband was out at work, and she ended up, like, staying up, like, she couldn't sleep. I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, my God.
Right? And she told her husband, pretty much her husband was like, you need to sleep more. But she's adamant into, like, I know what I saw. Like, bro, these little people with
I didn't ask. Oh my God. That like freaks me out. See, I think what doesn't freak me out about these ones or this, when you're telling me those stories, I'm never going to be out in the wilderness by myself in the fucking winter. Like, I'm not a cold person. I'm like, like, yeah, we go ice fishing. I'm never going to be out there by myself. Right. Hell no. I'm not doing that.
I would do it.
See, and that's why you get freaked out. That story you just told me freaked me out because I'm like, awesome. Now I'm not going to check on her in the middle of the night. That's your job. You work the next day and I don't. Sucks to suck because you're going to go check on her. But the only thing, I could try to explain that one away, but she has 3 kids and she saw 6 of them. She was just seeing double if she freaking fell.
Yeah, the barely lit eyes though.
I don't know.
That freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, it freaks me out, but same time I'm like, maybe she's seeing double.
Yeah, but she has a good. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like true or false.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not saying that either.
Yeah, dude, fucking aliens scare me, dude.
I get it. I get why aliens freak you out, but yeah.
I'll do a whole episode on aliens, maybe.
I don't even know if you could do it all in one. You'd have to do like freaking 12 parts, dude.
Maybe. But anyways, that's all I got for you.
I liked it.
You liked it?
And yeah, it was good. I like it when we can find like these random ones. Yeah. It's a good one. I like it a lot.
Sleep tight, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Now you're going to freak me out.
I'll see you guys later.
See you on the next one.